On 5 News, Britain's golden couple, Laura Trott and Jason Kenny, describe their joy after their emotional success at the Olympics.
It was never about kind of how many total golds can I win. So yeah, it feels really special. And I guess something, yeah, like I say, that I never believed I would achieve.
Also on the programme, the businesswoman killed by a love rival. 2 women are found guilty of murder. Labour leadership hopeful Owen Smith is forced to backtrack after controversial comments about so-called Islamic State. And a medal before her GCSE results, the 16-year-old inspiring a generation.
Oh, I'm super proud to know that one of our teammates has went out there and won a bronze medal at the Olympics. It's just unbelievable. I'm so proud of her.
Hello and welcome to 5 News. I'm Sian Williams, and they just keep coming. Team GB's gold rush in Rio has already made it our most successful overseas Olympics, and in the past 24 hours, we've won another 11 medals. That's more than any other day in the competition. It brings the total to 50. That's not far off the 65 won at London 2012. Well, 2 of the biggest stars of the night were cycling couple Laura Trott and Jason Kenny, who are getting married in September. For now, though, they're still trying to get used to having 10 gold medals between them, including the 5 they've won in these games. Dominic Reynolds reports.
These are his and these are hers. If these 2 were a country, they'd be 13th in the medal table by themselves. But Laura Trott and Jason Kenny are the British couple that no one could catch.
I guess for me it was never about kind of achieving that. It was always about just going in and kind of winning the events, and I guess that kind of came with it. But it was never about kind of how many total golds can I win. So yeah, it feels really special. And I guess something, yeah, like I say, that I never believed I would achieve.
I always said to myself, if I had to retire there and then, I would be happy, with my 3 gold medals. So it seems bizarre to have another 3.
It's hard not to smile when you see this. You got the feeling these 2 had forgotten that the world was watching last night. After this, you'd understand if next month's wedding day ends up being the 2nd happiest of their lives. But that's only part of our cyclist story. With Becky James sprint silver and Katie Marchant's bronze, every single one of the 10-strong team has now won a medal in Rio. Here's a moment in cycling history. Laura Trott met Bradley Wiggins when she was 12. So maybe there are future medalists here.
Don't try and freewheel, because you haven't got the freewheel.
It's a first-timers session for 12-year-olds at British Cycling's home in Manchester.
What was it like compared to how it looks on the telly?
A lot harder.
Is it? Why?
Because it's hard to stay up. You have to get really fast to keep up. Definitely last night with Laura Trott and all them lot.
Pretty special, huh?
Yeah.
Did you cheer?
Yeah.
Does it make you want to do it yourself, Maddie?
Yeah, I really want to do it now, I've seen it. But I don't know if I'd go all the way to the top on the ramp.
Bit scary.
Yeah.
It's high up, isn't it?
Yeah.
Keep pedalling.
Coach Graham has seen a lot of young cyclists come through here. 15 years ago, he saw one called Jason Kenny.
On the first time he rode it, we could see talent. He came off the track sort of crying. And I thought, what the hell's up with him? Anyway, it turned out that all the older riders have been moaning at him, saying he was dangerous.
Because he was too fast?
Basically, he was too skilled.
So just how is our cycling team now so good every Olympics? Other athletes have asked questions. Laura says there's a simple answer.
I think British cycling is very much an Olympic-based programme, and this is what we target. We target gold medals at games. It's not about the World Championships so much in the middle.
That programme could hardly be more successful. We haven't sat this high in the medal table for a very long time. Britain owes a lot to its pedalling power couple. Dominic Reynolds, 5 News.
Well, the cyclists weren't the only ones bagging medals last night, because days after winning gold in synchronised diving, 21-year-old Jack Law added a silver in the men's individual 3-metre springboard final. Britain's first boxing medal was won by Joshua Buatsi, who was defeated in the semi-final of the light heavyweight but still secured a bronze. In the sailing, one man who was so far in the lead he was guaranteed gold was Giles Scott. We told you about him last night, and sure enough, he took Britain's 5th consecutive gold in the men's Finn class. More success in the gymnastics, with 20-year-old Niall Wilson winning Britain's first Olympic medal in the horizontal bar. He got a bronze. And Team GB's youngest gymnast, 16-year-old Amy Tinkler, won Olympic bronze in the women's floor gymnastics. The day after she gets home from Rio, she's got her GCSE results to look forward to. And Amy said she wasn't even thinking about winning a medal when she started her routine. So we're going to be finding out about the secret of her success later on. First, though, let's have a quick look at the medals board. Team GB still stacking up the wins and still in second place behind the United States, but ahead of China. Let's turn to some other news now. And a woman who murdered a love rival in a brutal stabbing that she plotted with a friend has been jailed for a minimum of 30 years. Sarah Williams wanted to win back her ex-lover, so she killed Sadie Hartley in what the jury heard was an orgy of violence. Her accomplice, Katrina Walsh, who helped plan the murder, was also jailed for life, as Peter Lane reports.
Sadie Hartley with her partner Ian Johnston at a ski club Christmas dinner last year. Behind her, on another table, Sarah Williams, who'd had a previous relationship with Johnston and was obsessed by him. Just 4 weeks after this photo was taken, Williams murdered Sadie Hartley in a savage act of jealousy. Sarah Williams hid a tracker device on her ex-lover's car to find out where he and Sadie lived and carried out what was described in court as a meticulously planned assassination. The evidence trail included CCTV footage of Williams arriving at the couple's home when she knew Sadie was alone. 4 minutes later, she left. Williams attacked Sadie Hartley with a stun gun normally used on animals and then stabbed her 40 times. Ian Johnston says he's lost his best friend.
We were first and foremost friends. And I miss her like you won't believe. To realise that somebody you think the world of is taken in such a horrific, pointless, senseless way. And then to go to court and hear what's gone on to that endeavour, for that end, it's beyond belief.
In court, the jury saw traces of Sadie's blood on Sarah Williams' bath and footage of Williams buying size 10 boots she wore during the murder in the hope that police would think the killer was male. Williams' friend Katrina Walsh helped draw up the plan and kept months of diary entries about it. One read, "This may happen. Wow." The pair travelled to Germany to buy the stun gun, but Walsh told police she thought the plan was just a game, part of the fugitive TV show Hunted. When Sadie Hartley's body was found in the hallway of her home, police had to trace her daughter, who was on holiday overseas.
I just got engaged about 3 days before I got the phone call, so I was from an incredible high to an incredible low. She was just perfect. There was nothing bad about her that anybody could say. She was just a lovely, trustworthy, kind, loving woman.
1 week before the killing, Sarah Williams and Katrina Walsh delivered flowers to Sadie Hartley's home. She didn't know who they were from, but kept them in a vase. The delivery was described in court as a macabre dry run for the brutal attack Williams would carry out on the same doorstep 7 days later.
Now, Peter, what was the reaction in court when the women were jailed?
Well, Sian, there were tears from Sadie Hartley's family, but there was no reaction at all from the women in the dock. Sarah Williams will serve at least 30 years before she's considered for parole. Katrina Walsh, at least 25 years. Now, the judge told them, "You are both morally degenerate. You have so much in common. You've shown no remorse." He said this was no harmless world of make-believe. It was a game of death. This wasn't a crime of passion. It was a crime of obsession and of pure evil.
Peter, thank you. Labour leadership contender Owen Smith has suggested so-called Islamic State should be involved in peace talks with the West about Syria. His comments were made during a TV debate with his rival Jeremy Corbyn, who called them hasty and ill-judged. Let's talk now to our political editor Andy Bell. Andy, what exactly did he say?
Yes, Sian, the two men were taking part in this TV debate and they were both asked
whether the so-called Islamic State should be involved in any kind of peace process, any kind of talks to help bring about peace in Syria. Jeremy Corbyn said no. This is what Owen Smith said.
And my view is that ultimately all solutions to these sorts of crises, these sorts of international crises, do come about through dialogue. So eventually, if we are to try and solve this, all of the actors do need to be involved. But at the moment, ISIL are clearly not interested in negotiating.
All right.
And
so you're a no and you're a yes. That's clear. Thank you. No, it's
I'm yes, at some point, for us to resolve this, we will need to get people around the table.
And how did those remarks go down?
Well, as you can imagine, Sian, he's been pretty much slammed for them. Johnny Mercer, a Conservative MP, a former Afghan veteran, said this shows that Owen Smith is unfit for leadership. The Jeremy Corbyn team said that these remarks were hasty and ill-judged. Owen Smith has tried to clarify things a bit from his point of view, to say that while political solutions can help end conflicts, only those who have completely renounced violence should be able to take part in any kind of political process. And he said that at the moment that does not appear to include and may never include Daesh or the so-called Islamic State. So certainly trying to row back a bit, trying to clarify his position there. What does this all amount to? I think the problem for Owen Smith is that his whole pitch to be the leader of the Labour Party has revolved around him saying, Jeremy Corbyn's fine if you want a leader of a protest movement. If you want someone who is credible, who could one day actually be Prime Minister, then I'm your man. But today he's really done his own credibility quite a lot of harm, I think, and revealed himself to be a little bit naive on this one. So I think it's certainly done his campaign some damage.
Andy, thank you. And still to come on the programme. He's in jail, but why don't websites take down Anjem Choudhury's hate-filled comments? And the young gymnasts beaming with pride over Britain's youngest medalist.
I'm super proud. She's amazing. She's worked so hard and it just shows all of your hard work does pay off.
All that and more after the break. Hello and welcome back. You're watching 5 News. Now, we told you last night about the notorious radical preacher Anjem Choudhury, who's finally behind bars for drumming up support for so-called Islamic State. But while his voice may have been silenced, his messages are still readily available online, despite his connections to terrorism. One person who was radicalised by him has told 5 News those messages are dangerous. Julian Drucker reports.
We may lose a battle. Week after week, he would preach to scores in the streets, attracting new followers to his hateful ideology. But for Anjem Choudhury and others like him, there was, of course, a more immediate way of spreading that twisted message.
I want to share with you a couple of concepts which we all should be aware about.
His speeches online have had millions of views, perhaps radicalising some of those watching in the process. So why is this one, and others like it, still viewable on the internet, even after he's been convicted for inviting support for the so-called Islamic State? His trial heard how the British authorities had tried to get his videos and online posts taken down. They failed, as they have no powers to force the social media giants to do so.
There's a vast amount of messages going out there, but it only takes one person to take that message on board and commit a terrorist attack.
Former Islamist Adam Dean was a recruit to one of Choudhury's earliest networks. He's now reformed and helping to fight extremism.
We know studies show that those individuals that are engaging with material who are like-minded individuals that are engaging with other people that share the same ideas often become more extreme in their views. So they are dangerous, and they could lead to an individual becoming an active contributor.
Police requested Twitter to take down Choudhury's profile, arguing it breached their own rules on threatening or promoting terrorism. After 5 News queried this today, the account has been removed in the last few minutes. YouTube has removed some videos featuring Choudhury, but it considers this one to be journalistic. A spokesperson told us, "We have a designated Promote Terrorism flag underneath every video on YouTube, and we review content that anyone flags to us. We make exceptions for material with sufficient documentary or news value." As Choudhury awaits sentencing, the chair of the House of Lords Communications Committee tonight told us social media companies should do more to keep watch over potentially criminal material. Julian Drucker, 5 News.
An inquiry has heard how complaints had been made about a Conservative activist who's at the centre of bullying allegations before he was given a key campaigning role. It was told that warnings about Mark Clark's record of aggressive and bullying conduct had been made on several occasions before the party formally launched an investigation. The inquiry was prompted by the suicide of activist Elliot Johnson, who said Mr Clark and others had bullied him. Mark Clark denies the allegations, and the party says it's establishing new ways for handling complaints by volunteers. And unemployment dropped in the 3 months before the Brexit vote. That's according to new figures. The number of people without jobs fell by 52,000 to 1.64 million between April and June. There was also good news for wages, which rose 2.3%. More than 80,000 people have been ordered to evacuate their homes as wildfires continue to sweep through parts of California. The cause of the blaze is still unclear, although a man will appear in court today accused of starting one of the fires. Jessica Omer reports.
It looks more like a volcano than a wildfire, but this is Southern California up in flames. Fanned by the wind across land made tinder dry by heat and extreme drought. The fire has spread at a staggering speed, engulfing 50 square miles, destroying everything in its path. 100-foot flames licked the sky, homes and businesses devastated, the blaze so fierce firefighters can do little but watch on helplessly.
The police have been running up and down the street and telling us that we need to get out, and I guess it's really moving fast. Hopefully we get to come back. This is the third time, so hopefully it'll still be standing.
Smoke, man.
This roadside restaurant had been an iconic stop on the famous Route 66. History and memorabilia, now rubble. In Northern California, another blaze. Here it's almost under control, but the scores of homes it's ripped through are unrecognisable. Wildfires are common in California, but that doesn't make the destruction any easier to bear. Over 80,000 people have now fled their homes. They hope something of their lives and livelihoods can be salvaged from the ashes when they return. Jessica Omery, 5 News.
Let's take you back to the Olympics. Earlier, we told you about Team GB's youngest member, 16-year-old Amy Tinkler. Just a month ago, she was taking her GCSEs. Now she's a bronze medal-winning Olympic gymnast, the youngest member of a British team in more than 30 years. And it all started at a local club in South Durham, where her mum used to coach. Danny Sinha has more.
This is how the youngest member of Team GB wowed the judges in the final. And at 16, she rose to the occasion magnificently. There were tears, but ones of joy when she realised she'd bagged a bronze medal. Talented Amy has been doing gymnastics since she was 2, and her coach back home always knew there was something special about her.
To get her into the Olympic team was our first goal, and after that we just said we're just going to enjoy it. We just wanted to go out there and have an amazing time. So to make the final was unreal. To actually come out with a medal, just unbelievable.
Back at the South Durham gym where Amy trained, other youngsters are now fired up to follow in her footsteps. But it's been no mean feat for Amy. She's had to train 30 hours a week every day while studying for her GCSEs. Grit and determination have got her there, and she's now an inspiration to young gymnasts at home.
Me and Amy are really close, so I was very emotional when she did get that medal, and just to get there is just amazing for her.
Oh, I'm super proud to know that one of our teammates has went out there and won a bronze medal at the Olympics. It's just unbelievable. I'm so proud of her. Yeah, I always believed in her. I mean, she works so hard and she's so passionate and dedicated, and I knew she could do it.
There are not many 16-year-olds who can say they've bagged a bronze at the Olympics, and next week she'll find out if she's made the grade when it comes to her GCSE results. No doubt about it, though, this is a girl who's going places. Danny Sinha, 5 News.
And good luck to her as well with those GCSEs. Before we go, Matt has joined us. More Olympics tonight, Matt.
And more exams, actually, Sian. Well, after Amy Tinkler's bronze and those golds for Laura Trott and Jason Kenny, I'll be joined by one of the men who's been behind Team GB's incredible rise. Steve Ingham is from the English Institute of Sport that's worked with dozens of the athletes who've won medals in recent games, including Jessica Ennis-Hill. We'll also be joined by Olympic gold medalist Tessa Sanderson and asking, can Team GB one day finish top of the medals table? And yes, while Amy juggles gymnastics and GCSEs, we'll be discussing the rise in young people who want counselling because of the stress of waiting for their grades. But why are pupils finding it harder this year than before? Though perhaps not Amy Tinkler.
Perhaps not. Interesting. Thanks very much, Matt. See you later on. That is it for us for now, though. Sian Welby has the weather next. I'll see you again tomorrow at 5. Matt, of course, back at 6:30. Thanks for watching tonight. Goodbye for now.